Welcome back to another video. So it's Christmas season here, and I thought I should get myself a little gift. And that's this guy here. I also got another couple of gifts for myself to go with this first one. So you saw the title and thumbnail for this video. Let's get down to the bench and open these guys up. Alright, so here we are on the bench. It's not Christmas here yet. It's about a week before, but let's go ahead and unwrap this package, regardless of what day it is, because I've been a good boy this year and I think I deserve this. Ah, there it is. So this is the, as you know by now, Nintendo Famicom. So this is what was resold in the US as the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES. So they're functionally identical hardware, but the Japanese one looked a little different. And this one's not in the best shape cosmetically. I don't think that's meant to be peeling up like that. There's some weird stuff going on with this cord here, but I wasn't too concerned about any of that stuff. And I think we can potentially clean that up, or we can live with it. This looks like styrofoam was left on here. Actually, Adrian over at Adrian's Digital Basement just did a video, I think maybe on his second channel, about removing styrofoam remnants from these cords, and he used nail polish remover. Now, nail polish remover on ABS plastic, very, very damaging, so we want to be careful with that, but I think if this is what it looks like, then we should be able to take it off of the cord pretty easily. So I'm just curious to try that out really quickly. Yeah, it's definitely starting to come off. Alright, well, I don't need to go through this whole thing because you can go watch Adrian's video for that. That will be a future thing I do off camera. Alright, so we've got our two hardwired controllers. Controller 1 has the microphone in it and can adjust the volume, and this was different in the US version of the NES. We have the cartridge slot here, and then we have the unit itself. So I have a couple more goodies to go through here. And we have the RF adapter. So I think this is from a US-based Nintendo, it looks like. Yeah, this is NES control deck. And then we also have the cartridge adapter. I believe this allows you to play American cartridges in this system if it's not a region locked cartridge. I think these are region locked to Japan only. That's cool. And then we have the analog mod kit. So you can use this to modify the Famicom to support composite out. So definitely going to do that. So the RF channel on a US TV that would have been equivalent to channel 1 or 2 in Japan is actually channel 95 and 96. Not all TVs made in the US support those channels. I'm pretty sure I have one around that does, but we'll have to see if we can't get that working first. And then, of course, the new power adapter. So this isn't the original power adapter, and this one is for 100 to 240 volts, so this would work in the US or Japan. I think the original power adapters would work either way. Japan has interesting infrastructure where half of the country is 50 hertz and half of the country is 60 hertz. It's kind of like divided. The north and east portion and the south and west portion are split. I don't remember which is which, but there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that talk about why that ended up happening. Alright, and we got some other things here as well. At least one other thing. I think one of these may not be related to this particular video. I'll just open it anyway. Alright, this is an Intel 8087-2, my 8088 laptop. Alright, back on topic. This one definitely is related. So if you get a Famicom, you definitely need to get a game to test it out. And I got the Babel puzzle game. And I forget how this is translated, but this is a game that was available only in Japan until a couple years ago. They released it on the Nintendo Switch Virtual Console, which is where I first heard of it. And you know, I played a little bit and I thought that was pretty cool, and decided to get that to test things out. It's a pretty simple game. Don't need to really understand how to read Japanese to use it, so I thought that would be ideal for what we're going to be using this for. Alright, so first thing we need to do is get a TV that supports going to channel 97. Let me dig one of those up and see if we can't get this thing working in RF. Alright, so we switched to cable mode, and we're definitely getting something. So, now I don't know if it's the console that doesn't work, or if it's this particular game. Very likely it's the game, because I think these consoles were tested, but I think this game maybe couldn't be tested. So I'm just going to hit it with some deoxit. That's the standard procedure for anything with connectors. I'm going to put the game in, take it out a couple times to kind of just some friction to hopefully get any oxide off. Let's turn it on. And there we go. Deoxit saves the day. What's funny is that this was a Japanese-only game, yet it's all in English here. Ooh, the graphics don't look quite right. Maybe need to do a little more cleaning. And they're still a little messy, I think. So that's the Tower of Babel. Again, I don't remember the original name, but graphics aren't looking quite right. I think this cartridge needs a little bit more cleaning. But anyway, we've got the Famicom working, and that is with RF. So the next thing we want to do is we want to mod this thing to do composite out. So there are a number of places you can go on eBay and probably other places as well to pick up these kits to do it. But there's not too much to it. It's just a couple of capacitors, a couple of resistors, and then the cables to go with it. So I think there's a few different versions of these out there. I just went with the, I don't even know who this was, just some random eBay seller with good good reviews and lots of this sold. So we'll take our parts here. We've got 2 resistors, two electrolytic capacitors, and a disc capacitor, along with the connection here with the 4 wires on it. So this will be soldering into the board, and then we'll be connecting that through this 4-wire 1/8" RCA jack to get it split out into composite video. So this will plug into here, like that, and then we have some wires. Well, it didn't come with wires, but that's no concern, I have wires. Alright, so let's unplug this guy. We'll take our game out. I'll flip it over and we'll take the 6 screws out. Alright, so with those 6 screws out, the bottom just lifts off. And that exposes the motherboard. Alright, so I'm just cleaning up the area where I'll be doing the work. Make sure we have a nice clean spot. Then I'm going to label where the different connection points are so I don't forget. So this one here will be audio, and this one here will be video. And then of course these big blobs are ground here. So the first thing we want to do is wire up our jack. Alright, so I've got an old IDE cable here. I'm just going to sacrifice it for this mod. Got stacks and stacks of these, so it's not a problem. as well use the whole thing. Alright, and then I just need 3 wires. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solder it to this plug. So I'm going to take a razor blade again and just get these separated. I'm going to use my little vise here to hold this while I solder. Orient it in the same way my notes are, so I know which ones I need to get. Top, left, and bottom. So I'm going to just come in like this. So the first thing I want to do is tin these up. So now we want to do the mod to the board. Now this is a non-destructive and fully reversible mod. There's a bunch of mods out there. I didn't do a ton of research into which one's the best or which one is the easiest. I just went with this one because I saw it and it seemed easy enough for me to do. 2 capacitors, a resistor, and then a ceramic cap. Basically all we need. Alright, so we'll get soldering here. So I need to find my 470 microfarad cap. Sorry, 47, not 470. So we're going to solder the positive pin onto the video pin, which is here. So again, video, audio, ground is the big blobs in the middle. So we don't need to leave a lot of room, and we're going to be cutting these legs off pretty short, so no worries there. So I'm just going to bend these pins down and then kind of keep them flush with the bottom of the cap so it can hopefully stay on the board like it's supposed to. So again, I'm soldering the positive leg to video. Or at least that's what I'm attempting to do. All right, buddy, come on. All right, that's good. Just gonna hit it with a little bit more solder. Make sure we have a really good connection. That's great. All right, so I can trim the excess of that lead off. All right, and then we have a 220 microfarad. We're going to solder the positive side to audio. I'm going to bend the legs up and over, at least positive, as well as down. I'll set this guy right about here. Should be perfect. Actually, I want them on this side of the pin so we don't hit the ground by accident. All right, looks good. I definitely don't want that touch. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Maybe right here, I think is better. way there's no chance of it touching that other pin. Get that a little bit more solder too. And just completely knock it out of place. That's okay. There we go. Perfect. So we can take the rest of that lead off. Now lost my tweezers. To the negative legs of both of these, we will be soldering some additional things in order to make sure everything's good before we get to the actual cable. So we have a 1 microfarad ceramic disc cap here. So that's just going to solder to the negative leg of this one. And it will solder right into our video wire after. Get my tweezers again. Just two down. So I think I'm going to shorten first the negative of this cap. And then we can solder ceramic cap on. Remember, ceramic caps don't have polarities, they can go either way. And then on this one, we'll be soldering on our 120 ohm resistor. I think that's this one. I'm just going to test it out, make sure I got the right one here. There's two revisions of this board, the original and the 1989 one. And the original has additional needs to mod it. So I think they send you two resistors in this kit, just in case. 120. What we're looking for in this one is smaller. Let's check this one. Yeah, 120 was the first one, right? This is almost 200. 121, so this is the one we need. So we'll cut the leg off this one. And then this one we will solder to negative of the 47 microfarad cap. Solder on there. All right. All right, and then to these leads, we will solder audio to this one, video to this one, and then ground to ground in the middle there. So we'll take this cable that we made earlier, and what we're going to do is run it up through the same port that the controller comes out of. There's apparently enough room to do that with the gasket here, so let's do that now. So I'll tuck that underneath there. around here. We'll put it around a strain relief peg. And then apparently we can just take our wire and stick it in here. And just feed that right through. Nice. All right, so then let's go ahead and cut the leads off these other components here. That's that piece fell inside. There it is. Definitely don't want to leave component leads inside your machines. They can bounce around and short things out, so be careful to take those out. All right, now I didn't mark this cable with which is which, so I'm going to need to retest, but I do know which one ground is. I know where ground needs to go, so I'm going to cut it about here since ground is the longest. And then we can split these apart. So ground is my middle one. We're going to solder that right onto ground. There's a big glob of solder on there. Not melty. Let's add a little bit of flux. That will help us. And some fresh leaded solder. Flux always does the trick. Alright, so we got our ground. So now I just need to figure out which of these is which. So for that we'll use the multimeter again. Continuity since I didn't label them. So one of these is going to be video. So that's video. This one's audio. Alright. So let's start by soldering the audio on. I'm just going to tin this up really quickly. Maybe cut a little bit of it off. Solder that on here. Get some solder on my tip. Alright, looks good. And then we can tin up the video side. Again, I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. Solder that on. Alright, looks good to me. So now I think we're good to do a quick test. So let's take our AV cables coming from the back of this. Oh, and the nice thing about this mod is, like I said, it is reversible. And also the RF still continues to work. So we should be able to use RF and then also use composite at the same time. Alright, so let's plug it back in. Also, let's plug in our RF. So if we turn it on, so RF still works. Gray screen's expected since the game's not in there. And then let's switch the TV over to AV. We should see the same kind of thing. Look at that. Pretty sweet. Alright, so with the test completed, we can power it back off. Disconnect these cables. And now we can reassemble. So I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of electrical tape. Yeah, I know electrical tape is bad and evil and everyone hates it, but it does insulate really well. It also deteriorates into a gooey mess. But that's okay. Always clean things. You can't unshort things out, though. I don't want any shorts on this. So we'll just kind of wrap that up. That'll keep everything nice and isolated and safe. So, no worries. All right, and then we can put the bottom cover back on. So just for now, I'm going to hit a little bit more deoxide in here, a little more deoxide on the game. All right, we'll pop this back in. Pop it in the correct way. All right, so there's our mod sticking out the back. It can be disconnected. It's just going to hang out here forever, not going to get in the way. All right, so let's go ahead and plug our power back in. We'll leave the RF disconnected. And I just moved the camera because I realized you couldn't see this bigger TV before, but so trust me, RF is disconnected. We've got that over here. So this is running strictly on AV. All right, so I think that's going to be it for this video. It was a pretty simple mod. I just ran the cable out along with one of the controllers out of the back here. So again, easily reversible and no permanent damage to the console. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and happy holidays, and we'll see you in the next one.
Hi guys, make sure to like and subscribe and watch more of our videos later. Bye!